What if I told you that a company's payment records could unlock a really profound lesson about discipline and, get this, human potential? We're going to unpack a fascinating story that kicks off with a simple spreadsheet, but ends with a pretty radical new way of looking at education.
Okay, so at first glance, this just looks like a totally normal payment log, right? But take a closer look at that amount column. You've got people getting paid 100,000 Vietnamese dong while others are getting just 20,000. And it seems to be for the exact same task. I mean, that's not just a small difference, that's 5 times more. What in the world's going on here?
So yeah, that's the big mystery we're trying to solve. Is this just some kind of crazy unfair payment system, or is there a hidden logic that we're just not seeing yet? Well, turns out there's a secret rule that explains everything. All right, so here's our first big clue. The secret isn't in the names. The real code is cracked when you connect the payment amount directly to the submission time. It wasn't about who you were, it was all about when you did it.
And boom, here's the rule, laid out plain and simple. If you responded first thing in the morning, you got the top prize. If you waited till the afternoon, you got half. And if you procrastinated until late at night, you got the smallest reward. This wasn't just about getting a task done. It was a real-time test of your speed and your responsiveness.
And just in case anyone missed the point, a message sent out to the group made it crystal clear. It translates to, discipline is executing orders immediately and on time. So yeah, they weren't being subtle about it. This whole thing was a very direct, hands-on lesson about the value of taking immediate action.
So you're probably wondering, what was this super urgent task anyway? A critical sales report? A last-minute client thing? Well, the answer is something you would literally never guess in a million years. It was a history lesson.
Get this, the task was just a Google form quiz about the 85th anniversary of Ho Chi Minh's return to Vietnam. The sponsor, OHW, even put a reference to the event right there in the payment description. So this whole exercise was a discipline test wrapped inside a culturally significant history lesson. Pretty clever, right?
But hold on, because here comes the biggest plot twist of all. These weren't employees getting tested by their manager. So who were they? The answer completely changes how you see this whole thing.
They were students. Every single one of them was part of this really unique educational program called AI Chemsuk Kon Kai Bot Kai, which translates to AI takes care of your children. And this is where all the pieces of the puzzle just click into place. See, this program is all about learning by doing, not by reading a textbook. So that variable payment, it wasn't a salary. It was basically a reward in an educational game designed to teach discipline through actual direct experience. But the program didn't stop with a simple discipline test. Oh no, that was just level 1. The next phase leveled up from just acting fast to making complex decisions. The students were given 2 real-world dilemmas that required some serious strategic thinking. I mean, just imagine being a student and getting hit with these choices. Do you help out a passionate entrepreneur who has a risky idea but zero cash? Or do you bend the company rules for a customer who wants to make a weird non-standard deal? And you couldn't just say yes or no. You had to come up with a whole solution, laying out all the conditions and everything. But here's the most fascinating part of this whole story. For these dilemmas, there was no single right answer. The point wasn't to test what they knew. It was to reveal something much, much deeper about who they were. The person who created the program literally calls it a personality test. Just think about that for a second. Instead of trying to force every student into the same box, this entire program is designed to figure out what each kid's unique strengths are and then build on them. And this is how they do it. They call it the Amplify method. Step 1. They watch how a student handles a challenge to see what their natural traits are. Are they a logical thinker, super empathetic? Do they avoid risk or dive right in? Step 2. They amplify that strength by giving them more scenarios to practice and master it. And step 3, the focus is on making that one strength so powerful that it just outshines any weaknesses. It's a total flip from traditional education, which is so often about fixing what you're bad at. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on. What if learning wasn't about patching up your weak spots, but about finding your superpower and turning up the volume to 11? It makes you wonder if this is the future of education and what it really means to be smart in the world we're heading into.